for that. One is there was absolutely no threat to him, to that police officer. And they say he was resisting. This is almost a laughable defense. If someone is choking you so hard that you can't breathe, what are you going to do? Are you going to lie there or try to get some air? And that's what Tony was doing. So I can't imagine, and also the whole the premeditation part of this stuff. I'm going to choke you out, bro. I'm going to fuck you up, bro. These are the police officer's words. You don't hear Tony cussing at them any. It's the opposite. This cop's got a problem. Not sure what it is at this point, but he decided that that because he ran from him that he should die. And let's remember what this stop was for. The stop was for, apparently they asked him to get out of the car because he failed to go to a probation officer meeting and he wasn't wearing his safety belt, so they killed him for it. Unacceptable.
What was your first reaction when you heard the audio and saw the video?
Extremely upset stomach, sick to my stomach. Listening to the officer call his shot. You know, you play basketball in the backyard and you play horse and you shoot off the backboard. He calls it for everybody. Everybody can hear it when they see the video. I'm going to choke you out. Well, he did it. Involuntary manslaughter? Come on. Come on. Doesn't make sense. No, it's sickening. This whole thing, this is sickening from obviously what happened to Antonio. But now it's being enhanced by the district attorney's office basically to do a slap on the wrist charge. 18 months possible for killing someone with your own bare hands? Under the color of law, too. Any other questions? Yes.
How do you respond to his attorney saying he wasn't fired from the police, he was relieved from the
I understand that they gave him notice that he was fired. I understand also the right to police officers to appeal that decision. But come on, does anybody really think that this police officer should ever carry a badge or a gun again? Let's hope not, God forbid. And if, I mean, this is not a police officer that should be on the streets. He's a danger. Obviously, he's already killed one person. I can't imagine anybody thinking that it would be appropriate for him to go out and see if he could kill another. Anything else? Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your reaction? I mean, I saw the lapel video, and after it looked like they had stabilized him as far as handcuffed him, etc., there was a little bit of time between when they noticed that he wasn't breathing, etc. I mean, I think there's a lapse of time there. I mean,
it's a terrible lapse of time. Let's remember what's happened here. The officer is choking him out, which means his head is right next to the other, to Antonio's head. He can hear things that are going on, and you can hear in the video the gurgling of being choked to death. And yet this officer thinks it's okay after he does this just to let him lie there and not even try. He's been handcuffed. He's lying handcuffed now after he's been choked out, and they don't even try to bring him back. They just let him there. The cold indifference of these police officers is sickening, and we should never tolerate it. We should never tolerate it anywhere, especially in the city of Las Cruces. Anything else?
¿Habla español?
I'm sorry, I don't. But I do want you to respect the privacy of the family. I mean, I will tell you that I've been talking with them quite a bit, and they are grieving every minute and every day. Obviously, there's also such national news going on with the same issues of police excessive force. It hits home everywhere they look right now, everywhere they turn. They don't really have a statement other than what they've already said to you today. They're grateful for you being here, and they're grateful for you paying attention to the story. But that's where we're going to kind of end it right now. Hopefully, in the future, we'll all be in a place where they can speak to you about everything, but not right now. It's still too raw. Okay?
Is
Is there a word of statement that you would like to say in Spanish, any of you, just for people to know Tony, the Tony that you knew, not the one that is being presented to the world in Spanish?
I'm sorry, they're choosing not to, I'm sorry. Everybody grieves differently, and this is very tough for them, so we're gonna leave it at that, but thank you. Okay.
What's the next, what's the next step?
Well, the next step is hoping, we're going to hope and wait for a response from this letter from the district attorney, and hoping that indeed justice is done. We are also obviously speaking with folks at the city to see if we can make some changes in this town.
Are there any upcoming hearings, changes?
You know, I know that yesterday I myself and Rosalie listened into the first appearance by Officer Smelser, and but I don't know when anything else has been set up. I don't know. I'll get notice after everybody else gets notice, the other lawyers. I don't have an entry in that one, right, because that's the criminal side. I represent the family on the civil side. But I've done enough work as a prosecutor in the past, as a defense lawyer in the past, as a civil rights lawyer, to know, to let you know that I've never seen one that's worse.
As you brought up earlier, you know, with the police brutality and with what's going on right now, what is the family's message, not just to the city of Las Cruces, but just you know, to the people with what happened, and what is their overall message with what happened to
The violence by police officers towards the citizens, the uncalled for violence by police officers towards citizens of color especially, needs to stop. It needs to stop, and that's their message, and they hope to effectuate change any way they can, but they're demanding right now. Not only do they see the big picture, but they're also grieving for a dad, for a son.
I have two questions. The first one is, did Tony actually have a knife on him?
I don't know, I imagine half of you here in this room probably have a Leatherman tool. It's a little Leatherman with different little parts like this gentleman does. He had one of those in his pocket. He never reached for it. He never pulled it out of his pocket. That is an after-the-fact cover your ass right there. That's what that is.
Second question, where is Officer Smeltzer?
I have no idea. My understanding is he turned himself into the court and he's ROR'd. He's out on his own recognizance. That's not my concern right now. My concern for this family is justice, to make sure that he is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, not to the least extent of the law. And that's what's going on right now. This is the smallest charge that they could possibly charge him with, 18 months as opposed to 15 years. You tell me they do the same thing for a Hispanic that committed those crimes? No way.
Officer Smelser was never actually arrested. Do you think, and you just mentioned that it's because, you know, it's not a Hispanic police officer. Do you think this has to do with something because he is a police officer? Why was he not arrested? Why is he only facing a few months in prison?
Those are why he wasn't arrested, why those things took place, why he's not facing 15 years. All really good questions for a district attorney who is the top law enforcement official in this county. And I think those questions ought to be asked, because I know the family's very, very disappointed so far in the way the justice system with the district attorney's office is working here in Las Cruces. Yes, sir.
Do you have an opinion on defunding the police department?
Personally, I'm not going to get into that right now. Maybe in another venue I might, but right now I'm here representing the family, and so I don't think it's really appropriate. Listen, we're not putting a blanket all over every police officer out there that they're all bad. That's the farthest from the truth. But we're seeking justice, and we're seeking a stop and an end to the violence upon citizens by bad cops. This is a bad cop.
Have you had any priors?
I'm sorry.
Did this officer have any priors?
Not that I know of at this point. No.
Is there a photo of Tony that we can have access to or use just for our stories as well?
Yes, we'll get that to you, by all means.
On behalf of the family, can you describe Mr. Valenzuela, what type of person he was, what did he do for a living, et cetera?
Hold on one
Or
second.
maybe the family members would like to comment?
I'm sorry, the family doesn't really wish to speak right now, but they will tell you, that they asked me, his life work, he was a mechanic and a loving father and son. And he'll be terribly missed. I know that because every day I speak to the family, they tell me about missing him. And there's just simply no justification for what the Las Cruces Police Department, specifically this officer, did to Tony, his family, and this community. Okay. All right, well, thank you all very much for coming out here. We appreciate your interest and your time. If you have any follow-ups, you have my cell number. As far as the picture is concerned, I'll have that text to me, and then I'll send it to whatever number you guys give me to send it to, okay? Will that work? Can you pull it off the phone and put it on?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. We'll do that right away. In fact, if you just want the picture, why don't you just write down your phone numbers, and we'll have it texted to that right now. Can you do it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're kind of like off the record now? Is that okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So who's got a phone number? You want to just write it down real quick?
Of course.
Thank you. All right. Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to vote? Here. Just put your phone number down and we'll get a text to it right now. Do you have my phone?
Yes.
Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I
You want a picture? You want a picture? Just put your phone number down. I think that'll work.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Were they able to get the stuff? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for your help. And we found your work.